Here's going to be a look at some Anthony Brown throws from the last 2 weeks of the preseason. He's played well the entire time, if you ask me. Obviously, had some big moments in the Washington game, even in the Arizona game as well. Even though he threw an interception, which I do not have access to. The place where I'm finding film does not have access to that one. But look, if you look at his stats from Oregon, they were a spread to run offense, and they had a little running back, tough guy who I think has transferred to USC that seemed to get a lot of the carries. And I don't even remember Anthony Brown's stats for real, but I know they weren't overwhelming in terms of throwing the football. Saw 2 games of him against Utah in college and noted that it was a run-first offense, number one. Number two, they were going up against a really good defense in Utah, and they didn't have a lot of passing options, I guess I would say, in terms of personnel advantages. I mean, Devon Williams was a guy that the Ravens have let go at this point, but for that level, he was a matchup issue on the backside of a lot of trip stuff. They certainly had some creative run plays, run blocking schemes. Anthony Brown was, responsible for reading multiple things: RPOs, zone reads, plays, gap scheme, power read plays as well. That would be considered kind of like shotgun wing T-ish. So Oregon did it all in terms of the run game. I thought their pass game was secondary, and I didn't think Anthony Brown really showed a lot of consistency when he was throwing the ball often. But things have definitely changed. I think you have to give credit. We have to give credit to Anthony Brown, first of all, for coming in as an undrafted guy, taking advantage of the opportunity, clearly improving his skills, playing under center and in the shotgun, which I don't think he played a whole lot of under center at Oregon. At least I didn't see it last year in the two and a half games I saw. And then credit to the Ravens coaches. At this point, you have a second quarterback. I guess maybe some would say third if you count Trace McSorley, but I think Trace McSorley was a little bit more of a known commodity because he went to Penn State. But Utah is a pretty damn good football program. Oregon's been pretty daggone good for the last 16, 18 years. So there's those 3 guys, if you ask me, are a testament that we have developed some backup quarterbacks. Does that carry over to Lamar? Yeah, I think it does. I think I have said multiple times that I think if you look at the early part of the season last year, there's a lot of new concepts that were put in, throwing the ball, some air raid style concepts. We certainly went to the RPO more last year, and Lamar showed improvement in all of those skills, among others that I'm not mentioning for the purpose of this video. We're going to look at the film now, and I'm going to show you, I think, 14 or 15 plays from Anthony Brown's last 2 games of the preseason. And this is a check down, which he does a nice job of often. There's going to be 2 verticals. It's 21 or 22 personnel, excuse me. And there's 2 verticals, and Nick Boyle is going to release out into the flats, and then he takes the running back underneath. I feel like Huntley and Brown have done a nice job of this in the preseason. Going downfield when available, but then taking the check downs, if necessary, to just keep things moving. Because I don't think that the run game has really been consistent at all in the preseason. I think the stats kind of bear that out. Down in the goal line, I call this the cheat play, where the quarterback and the running back are both, going to the same side. And I thought Greg Olsen, did a nice job of covering that a little bit in that preseason game against Arizona. You also have, I think this is a Gaither who's since been released. Yes, Gaither. Releasing inside of this DB, forcing this DB to turn his back to the sideline and kind of open up that space where the running back is running onto. Not really a clear out route, but it is clearly occupying this guy, which looks like man at this point. And then the linebacker, strong safety type guys are going to have to flow and take over the running back. We defended that play concept much better in that same game. If you remember, Jeremiah Moon takes the running back out in the flats, and then Josh Ross makes a hell of a hustle play to make contact with Trace McSorley right before he touches the pylon, or right before he gets to the pylon, to prevent a touchdown. So easy stuff on that one from Anthony Brown. Schemed up pass plays, but everybody takes advantage of those sometimes. A go fade against man free, press man, if you ask me. And we get a defensive pass interference. Good ball, though. This ball is a little bit more toward the sideline than where you may think Mekhi Polk is running this route. First of all, Mekhi Polk is running by this dude, whoever this DB is. He's running by him. The guy realizes it and reaches out and grabs him. You can kind of see it there. I know the resolution isn't great. I'm not zooming any of this in. And I think the ball was good. I think as he's getting held, it kind of pulls Mekhi Polk in just slightly, or prevents him from working back to the sideline. Let me rephrase that. Prevents him from getting back to the sideline. I know Olsen, I thought Olsen was mischaracterized it as, Polk's got to go back to the football. He was prevented from doing so. That's the reason why it was called interference. Cover 3, we'll let it run. Touchdown to, I think, Riley Webb. Up the seam. Great route concept. So you're going to get Shamar Bridges on the stop, comeback. And then this safety's going to roll down. Hold on. This safety's going to roll down to play curl flat. I'm going to pause it. I know the ball's going to be thrown, but I'm going to pause it just to show you the cover 3. So here's the cover 3, third, third, third. That's your 3 deep. And then here's your 4 underneath defenders. This guy right here, if you track him back, he is one of the 2 high safeties. So they're trying to disguise it a little bit pre-snap. Brown sees it and fits this thing right around in this area here. A little further upfield, 5 yards upfield further than I'd drawn. It's a great throw. I mean, the corner's trying to play, divider technique if he gets 2 verticals, but Bridges checked up. The corner almost makes a nice play. Webb with a little stiff arm running through contact. Awesome throw. Anthony Brown's getting the ball to people on time, whether they're, short in space, like this one, whether they're down the field. One's a little high, but I haven't seen that. I'm going to say something about this one. I haven't seen him throw the ball high like this. Have you? In preseason. And what I wonder about is this ball thrown high because he knows he's throwing it to Shamar Bridges? I think it's possible. I don't think there's, in terms of the technique here, there's no real pressure yet, but there is a person that he may see, a D tackle, who's pushing the middle of the pile forward. He may see that a little bit, and that's why he doesn't get much follow through. Look at his body; it's very, oriented that way. One of the few times that he doesn't get all the way through his throwing motion. I do like his feet though. If you watch his feet, tap 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 right here, but in place, waiting for Bridges to get open. It's possible that that's just an off-target throw. I think if that is the case, then it's just because he didn't really get everything into the throw. Maybe because he didn't want to step forward because of the pressure. Sluggo route to Demarcus Robinson. Great throw. And somebody mentioned in the comment section of my video on Demarcus Robinson last night, you get this little shoulder fake by Anthony Brown, and both of these guys are so undisciplined. I mean, I've talked many times on this channel about DBs looking in the backfield and just, essentially cheating, not playing any technique at all. That's what happens. Not every time. Of course, there's times where they jump balls, and it benefits them to look in the backfield. This is one of those times where they get taken advantage of, even though there's a talent differential between Demarcus Robinson and those 2 guys. That's if those guys play it in a fundamentally sound way and they don't have eyes in the backfield, they don't get beat that badly and embarrassed like that. Great throw by Anthony Brown. I mean, is it surprising to you that he's throwing the ball this well, given how he threw the ball at Oregon? Is it surprising to me? Kind of, yeah. Kind of it is. He wasn't given opportunity to do as many of these things, but he's hitting all kinds of routes, as you see in this video. He's hitting deep routes. He's hitting underneath routes, check down routes late in the progression, the first one I showed you. Intermediate routes here. I love the angle of this throw. I mean, I don't know what his ceiling is. It's easy to get enamored with preseason performances at times. He's got an elongated throwing motion at times, let's be honest, but this is a nice cut angle throw from almost one hash, to the far hash below the numbers. That's a great throw. That's a pro throw. I didn't see a ton of those in college unless it was to Devon Williams. But again, I only watched two and a half games, a little bit of a game from later in the season before they played in the conference championship game. All right, a little in cut to Demarcus Robinson, and it looks like he's looking at the safety first, maybe just to try to hold, and that's a look off. He doesn't look off here. That's just a look off. He's not reading anything at that point. He's just looking over there to try to keep that safety away from Demarcus Robinson, which is where he's going the whole time. You've heard of one receiver routes. I think once he saw the coverage that he had here, and he realized that they had all this space and the free safety not hedging that side. That's where he was going. And I talked about it in the DeMarcus Robinson video. Like, Robinson does a nice job of essentially playing like box out position in basketball, even though the defender was not on his back. Shamar Bridges stop route, short side of the field. I don't know about you, but this is like the third time. And look, it's a catch, and he caught it with his body. And I think it was, God, I can't remember who it was in the comment section. That's the first ball that I've seen Shamar Bridges catch with his body, and I agree. First of all, it's a great ball by Anthony Brown. Little bit of a pump fake for whatever reason. One thing I will say about Bridges is, come back to the ball a little more. Come back to the ball a little more. Cut this angle some, and that'll prevent that DB from, if his body was here, then that DB is going to have to close a little more, and we can catch the ball with our hands, secure it, a little better before we get hit. Let me know what you guys think on that thought. Shamar Bridges usually does a pretty good job of that, if you ask me, on that play. In particular, he did not. Little go route, outside release go by Benjamin Victor against man. Great ball. I mean, that's just exquisite. I don't know what else you can ask a quarterback to do. You have a 6'5" receiver. I understand that there's a matchup advantage there in our favor. And he's definitely looking at this safety right now, so he's looking for something like this. Sometimes you get this, he'll check up in the middle of the field, or that right there. This is the same route combination that Justin Jefferson hit us on with the Vikings on the first touchdown in the regular season game last year in Baltimore. Same concept. I don't think you can ask for much more from a guy who is considered your third string quarterback. As sharp as he is, there's definitely a place for him, as a backup somewhere in this league. Hopefully we can keep him on the practice squad, but when watching this film, it kind of is hard to believe that we can do that. Again, little shoulder fake to DeMarcus Robinson. Timing up the out, and they've got what they want with this corner. Just very undisciplined. I mean, you've seen that DeMarcus Robinson won on a double move earlier, and you still get caught on it. You can see how undisciplined some of these DBs are, especially guys that want to make a play by having their eyes in the backfield, even after they've been beat on a double move. All right, classic Ravens pistol option play action. And you're going to get an over route by Josh Oliver that takes advantage of these inside linebackers being put in conflict. Great ball. I'm not showing you the end zone angle on any of these for real. But I think you've got real nice technique here. If you're going to be picky, you're going to say, "Hey, I know that we're not probably handing this off because this left foot is so staggered this way." But the path of the back is a little bit different. I don't know if I had the correct path of the back. Yeah, I did. Normally you would be giving up the midline. He's not giving up the midline. The midline is where the ball was snapped in a direct line towards both end zones, and he's not giving up the midline. He's stepping on the midline. So maybe it's just a different play action from option play action, and it's just like power play action. It certainly does look like it because we got a center pulling and we got a guy in motion. So I always talk about giving up the midline because we want the linebackers moving downhill, but they're getting what they want. They're getting this linebacker moving downhill, this linebacker moving downhill, and then throwing it over. This is the Mark Andrews route. Mark Andrews has caught probably 130 of these in his time in Baltimore, maybe more. A couple more plays here. I believe this is the scramble for a touchdown. Initially, I think he's looking at Benjamin Victor up top, and then tries to come back to the middle of the field here, and neither Oliver nor Polk is open at this point. Polk is trying to work his way back here, thinks he's open, and he actually is once Brown tucks the ball and takes off running, but Brown sees the goal line, and it's easy for him. Certainly not as athletic as Huntley, and doesn't even deserve to be mentioned in terms of the same level of athleticism as Lamar. But the arm strength is there. Does something interesting with his helmet here. Face mask. Watch his face mask as he drops back here. I'll let it run a couple of times. See him looking right and left like he's watching a ping pong match or something. And then he's trying to stick it, over top of the corner and outside of the safety in this like what looks like cover two here, but this guy's in trail. It looks like an unintentional trail. It doesn't look like to me he's actually trying to play trail technique. I mean, he certainly does let him get past him though. I might be wrong there. The corner certainly does open up, let Victor get past him, and then try to trail him from behind. So maybe that's what happens with this throw here being a little high. Maybe as let's see when he's releasing it, what he sees. Right as he's yeah, he definitely could be interpreting. If you're not sure what I mean, trail technique, and I did mention this about a week ago in a video. Trail technique is what the Bucs used a lot of against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl when they really took them to school. I know the Chiefs were missing 2 starting offensive linemen, but and the pass rush was a big element of it. But the trail technique forces the quarterback to throw it over the top of the DB, and he certainly got a big enough target here in Victor. And as he's releasing this ball, yeah, it's definitely possible that Anthony Brown notices and identifies this as trail technique, so tries to stick it over the top there. I'm not sure whether it was catchable or not. Certainly doesn't look like it from that angle. Last one, you're going to get Bridges on this little clear out route. He's not really running 100% if you ask me. And then I think that's Riley Webb running this little China out, or you guys call it a whip route probably. Brown is looking over here to this side of the field or something. I guess it's for this tight end, Poole John, running up the seam here possibly. Trying to see what he can get. Looks like quarter, half to me. And then, just takes the simple gain out to the flats to the right side. He's capable, at least from the film that I showed you today and what we've seen, he's capable of making throws at all 3 levels, short, being the first level, intermediate, and then deep routes. He's capable of making those throws. He scrambled for a touchdown. The level of competition he's facing, can you say, yeah, he can go somewhere and he can start? Well, no, obviously not. But Anthony Brown can play in the NFL, for real. If you show this type of skill over the course of 3 games, again, I was unable to show you the interception against Arizona. I think the inside linebacker did a great job on that play, but the website I'm getting the film from, this does not have that one. It's shoddily run. You should know the name of it. But Anthony Brown's shown a lot of skills, maybe too many to remain on our practice squad. I know some people would say, hey, why don't we look at trading Tyler Huntley and then elevating Anthony Brown to our backup. I'm just not sure what we get for Tyler Huntley. I like Tyler Huntley. We all do. He's got skills. He could be a starter for certain teams in this league. I think there is no doubt. But I still don't know what we get for him. I don't know that we get a 4th rounder for him, for real. Right now. But if there's some team like the Colts, or even, I'll give you another one that might sound crazy, the Rams, that suffers a quarterback injury in week 7 or 8, and they're 6-1 at that time, so they're rolling, and they just need a quarterback to come in and execute their offense. I think at that time Tyler Huntley becomes more of a commodity. Hopefully that makes sense. And look, I'll go one step further. That could align with some of our needs at some point. It could align with some of our needs. Being able to trade Tyler Huntley for a 3rd rounder. Is that realistic? I don't know. You tell me. Not right now. I don't think it is. But when a team develops a need at some point, being able to trade him for a 3rd rounder and then take that 3rd and another one of our assets and move that for a wide receiver from a team who's struggling. So I'm talking about 2 trades, a 2-level trade essentially, getting rid of Tyler Huntley. If Anthony Brown is still on our practice squad, because let's be honest, 2 weeks from now he might not be. But if I understand it correct, and I really never paid attention to these things a ton, if a team's going to take someone from our practice squad, then they've got to put him on the active roster immediately, right? So I do find it hard to believe that Anthony Brown is going to end up on the active roster just based on the film that we've seen here. Not that he hasn't shown his skills. I mean, I'm showing you a 20-minute video offering to you that he's capable of being a backup quarterback for certain teams in this league. Let me know what you think of my thoughts there. He's shown some of the skills. Let's put it that way. He's shown some of the skills. You know, there hasn't been a ton of blitz pressure, obviously, in the preseason. That Arizona game, I firmly believe, was a handshake agreement between us and them to kind of keep things real vanilla and not blitz each other a ton. But in any case, let me know what you think of my breakdown and what you think of Anthony Brown's play. Certainly hope that he continues to stay with the Baltimore Ravens organization because he's an asset now as a third string guy, as a guy I said who could simulate Joe Flacco in week 1 because of the arm. Because of the arm, I think he could if we are going to get Joe Flacco as a starting quarterback, I think he could simulate Flacco's arm strength and the types of throws that Flacco can make, and do a better job in that scout team quarterback situation than Tyler Huntley, who I just don't think has the same level of arm strength as a Flacco does. If you guys enjoy the video, please like and consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Thanks for checking the video out.